All right, what we got?
So from the YouTube comments, we have a question from None again.
None is very active.
None. None asks, what do you do if you don't like some people at work? They gossip, they're not honest, they're fake, but you can't avoid them and you still have to see them and interact with them almost every day. And you can't force yourself to look pleased or happy around them, but don't want to appear obnoxious at the same time. I was told to say nice regardless and do nice things to them, but I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my values.
I'd find a job where you don't hate your coworkers. Seriously. I mean, I know it's hard. I know there's some uncertainty. It's scary. But I would try to find... There's people who go to work every day because they love their coworkers. And so if it's a real problem and you feel like you don't look forward to going to the office, I would say, can you find the same pay or even take a pay cut to improve your quality of life by working somewhere else?
Yeah, and I think that's certainly the long-term strategy, medium-term strategy is, as you're saying, you're facing, I don't feel a way, I got to put on a happy face, and that's going to eat at you. And I felt that way about putting on a suit when I was going to work. I was like, this is so false and fake. And the simple act of pretending that I cared about what everyone was talking about made me feel that way too.
Yeah, I do. Two things I will say, because I do think this is important, is when you repress an emotion, it just stays there and then leaks out somewhere else. And it's not good for you, and it's not good for your emotional or physical health. And also when you lie, 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem is a book that we really believe is helpful. And it tells you when you lie, it eats at your self-esteem. So I would say staying in this place and biting your tongue every single day is going to teach you to bite your tongue, and it's going to give you a bunch of negative emotions that just fester in you and result in physical sickness or you taking out your negativity on someone who doesn't deserve it. So yeah, I would definitely not just put on a smiling face while you're unhappy.
So here's some practical solutions, and I'll let you decide which is most appropriate. One is to, I don't know who these people are, but to speak with them candidly about this, because this is an alternative. You don't have to put on a fake happy face. You can, hey man, could I chat with you alone, not in front of, I wanted to tell you something. You can read Radical Honesty for approaches on how to do this. Like the way that I would do it is, it's not easy to say. You're preambling in a way that opens them up, makes them receptive, but also expresses that this is uncomfortable for you. And then go specific. But when you did X, when you said this about this, it made me, then I felt like you were gossiping. Yeah. And it made me uncomfortable talking to you, even in situations outside of that. So I wanted to tell you, and then you say, I want to tell you for 2 reasons. One, I would appreciate if you didn't do that thing anymore, and you can ask for a specific behavioral change. Don't say, don't be a jerk. Don't say, say, don't talk about people behind their back. If I'm there, I guess you might have to do it behind my back as well.
Yeah.
But second, I wanted to tell you, and this is another important part of it, because I value our relationship and I want to remain friends or comfortable and at least collegiate with you. And I didn't want this to fester inside of me and wind up with me treating you unkindly as a result of not having told you. And I know that's uncomfortable to hear, but I wanted to tell you because I respect you. And that adds context that I think softens the blow a bit. So that's one option.
Can I hop in? Because there's something you did that I want to make explicit. I think a lot of people, when they go into these conversations, they accidentally label. So they say, when you gossip, right? Which is a vague thing. Who's to define gossip? Or they say, when you're rude, which is, now you're telling this person they're rude. They can fight back or push back on those terms, right? But if you just use very specific facts, like irrefutable facts and your own feelings, it'll help move the conversation to a useful place.
Yeah.
So rather than saying when you gossip or when you're rude, yesterday when you said this about this person, it made me feel blank.
Yep.
And that is going to make it a much more constructive conversation. Versus if you say, when you were disrespectful to Charlie behind his back, the person's going to go, I wasn't disrespectful. And now you have to battle about whether or not what they said is disrespectful. So a good way to have these conversations be constructive is, to the best of your ability, limit it to irrefutable facts and your own feelings, which are also irrefutable.
So that's one option, is to go in with the candid thing. And the other, if you don't think it's appropriate for whatever reason, I would suggest that might be, but a completely viable option is to recognize that you're going to have relationships with people in your life that, because of the context, don't allow for full transparency. So just one example of this is if someone is on their deathbed and you found out that their husband or wife was cheating on them, you probably don't tell them, because it's like the context of this is there are more important things right now. So I don't know how much you're forced to be together, but it is totally normal to have people with whom you have only particular styles of interaction. How was your weekend? What TV show do you like? Okay, bye. And so you can cut out the portions of this that you don't want to be part of by removing yourself when they start to gossip, going back to work, doing these things.
Yeah, leaving the conversation is a totally viable option. If
Yes.
you don't want to quit your job, if you're like, I love what I do, but it's just these people, leaving is a totally great option. I just think staying there and nodding along while you die inside, that's the thing you want to avoid.
And trying to be like, okay, what would it take for me to enjoy my time with this person? What kind of time would we have to have, and what kind of time would I have to remove myself for, such that you create a scenario where you can look forward to seeing them, because you know that you're going to talk about the ball game or whatever it was that happened the thing before, and as soon as the other thing comes up, it's back to work. And you recognize that that is a flaw in them that you don't need to get riled up and judgmental, because guess what? If you're going to try to hold everyone accountable for the worst thing that they do, there's not going to be many people left for you to be close to. So I think that that could help as well as just going, okay, I'm going to try to draw this relationship within a certain boundary set.
Yeah. We talk about golf.
Yep.
As soon as it switches to office politics, I just bounce back to my computer.
Yep. So good luck. I hope that helps.